Hello, Internet. This is MTGO. I have a Lantern deck. It's not Whir, though. We're going to be playing Golgari today. Before we get into the games, I'm going to try and explain very quickly how the Golgari list works compared to, let's say, a Whir list. Apparently, a lot of people are learning what this deck is through the channel, and I should at least go over what Lantern does so that people can learn off of it better. So I'll put a dedicated timestamp if you want to pass the what is Lantern spiel. I have a tendency to ramble, so this might go on a little bit longer than I anticipate. But at least this way, if you're new to the deck, or if you want to come back after you see how the games are played and figure out exactly why cards are in the deck, then this is a good part of the video for you. Okay, so let me pull out some of the crucial cards to the side here so we can explain them. So, what is Lantern Control? Enter Lantern of Insight. It's a 1-mana artifact. Players play with the top card of their library revealed. You can tap and crack it to make target player shuffle their library. On its face, this card looks absolutely hot garbage. It does not provide card advantage to you in any way. All it does is provide information, and it doesn't even provide information of what your opponent has. It has info on what your opponent will have. However, we can take advantage of what Lantern does if we pair it with a card that mills an opponent's library. So, Codex Shredder, 1-mana artifact. Tap it, target player mills a card. If you see something that your opponent has on top of their library and you don't like it, that means that you can get rid of it. That is the core principle of what Lantern Control is that we're going to be controlling the top part of our opponent's library, and sometimes our own as well, to give our opponents the worst draws possible and to give us the best draws possible. So that's achieved by using something like Codex Shredder, which targets players in particular, which is very powerful. You can also crack this late game to return cards from your graveyard to your hand. It doesn't come up super often, but it is something that's worth noting. Sometimes you do it through Pixis, which exiles each player's top card face down. This is useful if you don't want something to go into your opponent's graveyard. Most players run 1 to 2 of these. I'm running 1, which I'll explain in a moment. Ghoul Caller's Bell, each player mills a card. This is a mill rock that people sometimes run as well. So we're going to be playing 4 Lantern of Insights, and we're going to be playing 6 mill rocks. We're going to be playing 4 Codex Shredders, and then 1 of each of these cards down here. With that core principle out of the way, you may have seen some holes in the strategy here. This doesn't really sound like a winning tactic, it just sounds like a way to stall out the game. And you'd be right. So you may be asking yourself, how do we deal with combat damage? That's how like 99% of decks win in the modern format. How do we plan on attacking that part of the deck? Enter Ensnaring Bridge. 3-mana artifact. Creatures with power greater than the number of cards in your hand can't attack. This deck has a very low mana curve. We're going to be dumping our hand very quickly. So if we slam this down on turn 3, the odds that our opponent is going to be able to kill us is very low, unless they're a very aggressive deck. So by turn 3, we'll probably have 2 or 3 cards in hand. By turn 4, we might have 1 or 2 cards in hand maximum, and then turn 5, we should be hellbent. So that means that we shut off anything that has more than 0 power from attacking. That shuts off the majority of combat damage. There are some technical ways to get around the bridge, but by and large, that's the plan that bridge has. Now, another problem that you may have noticed is that your opponent starts with cards in their hand at the beginning of the game, and they usually keep a hand that they can, play with. So we need a way to answer the stuff that isn't on the top card of our opponent's library that slips into their hand, and that's what discard effects are for. So we're running 4 copies of Thoughtseize. We're going to be running 3 copies of Inquisition of Kozilek. Sometimes Inquisition of Kozilek is Duress as well, but you're running 7 discard effects normally. That answers pretty much everything that your opponent might have against you. It's going to be difficult to navigate the game in a way that makes sure that your opponent can't kill you, but I assure you it is very possible once you get the hang of things. We also have a supporting cast of cards to help make sure that we don't die through other weird things that are going on in the format. So, Urza Saga, for example, can make construct tokens and help us assemble the lock as quickly as possible. When I say the lock, I mean having a lantern, at least 1 mill rock, and a bridge. So to assemble the lock, the Saga helps a lot because it can find the piece that we're looking for, except for bridge. It can't do that, but at least it can make some tokens to block. With Urza Saga also means that we can cover some weird sideboard angles that opponents can use to try and kill us through value loops. So that's what these 4 cards here are. So we have Pithing Needle. This will shut down most Planeswalkers. It won't shut off static abilities like Karn the Great Creator, which is a big deal, but it answers pretty much anything else that's going to be running around in the modern format. It answers channel lands, which are notoriously hard to interact with. It's a good card. It also only costs 1 mana. If you run Disruptor Flute in your list, you know the power of a Pithing Needle effect. So we're going to be running 2 of those. Sometimes you run 3. Actually, we're running a 3rd one in the board. But Cookbook is here to address decks that are too fast. So if we're playing against like Boros Aggro or Burn or Prowess, the Cookbook will bail us out. It's also really nice if we need to dump cards out of our hand very quickly. So again, in the Boros Aggro matchup where you have lots of 1 or 2 power creatures that they have like, I don't know, 10 of them, the Cookbook bails you out. We're also running a Grafdigger's Cage so that we can play, or we have game against things like Court of Calling decks, so Nadu or Yawgmoth. It also shuts down the graveyard part of Yawgmoth style decks. It shuts off the graveyard looping on the Soul Trader graveyard decks. It shuts off Gorios. It shuts off Urza Saga finding a Haywire Mite to get rid of a bridge. It does a lot of work. Other supporting cast cards I will put over here. Assassin's Trophy is just going to deal with problem permanents that slip through the lock. It can hit any permanent, it can do it at instant speed, and you don't really care that your opponent gets a basic land most of the time because why would you? They're not casting anything relevant anyways if you're getting rid of the important stuff that can somehow get through your lock. Most lists run 3, I'm running 2 because I'm greedy. Mishra's Bauble kind of fills in as being a bad Lantern of Insight for a turn. If you really need to make sure early game that you're hitting the right card draws, then you target yourself, and if you have a Codex Shredder or a Pixis or a Ghoul Color spell out, then you can mill yourself if you don't like what you're about to draw next turn. On rare occasions, you can also use this on your opponent, but 99% of the time, the Bauble is going to be targeting yourself. Profane Tuners are a bit slow, but they're very mana efficient, and we really need Ensnaring Bridge a lot of the time in these games. It can also grab sideboard pieces after game 1, so it's very useful. Ancient Stirrings fills a similar purpose, but it's mostly geared to finding bridge. We do have a decent amount of artifacts in the sideboard that we can hit off of this as well, but I'm only running 2. Most lists these days are only running 2 or 3 of these. We're also going to be running Surgical Extraction. Surgical is really good against combo decks right now, so Nadu, for example, it's really nice to be able to steal a Shuko or steal a Nadu out of their graveyard and make sure they can never do that again. It's good against Tron because you can take a Tron land, that's the dream. Normally you're taking Karn, Karn the Great Creator. You can take the One Ring, you can take out Goryo's reanimation targets. There's a lot of utility right now with Surgical Extraction. So it's worth running at least 2, I think, right now. In the mana base, we have 4 Urza Sagas. We also have 3 Mycosynth Gardens, which, if you've played against Amulet Titan, you've seen these before. You can copy your Milrocks, you can copy a Lantern of Insight if you need to, in response to removal. If you have a lot of mana in the mid-game, you might be holding up as much mana as possible so that you can copy an Ensnaring Bridge at instant speed. Just keep in mind that the Gardens is only usable once. Once you copy something, it's just that artifact. It's no longer a land, and it loses all of its other abilities. So, you get 1 shot. We're going to be running 1 Fomori Volt. A lot of lists are running 2 of these as well. It's very powerful in the mid-game. We're very good at spamming a lot of little artifacts on the table, so the ability on Fomori Volt to look at cards in our library and find exactly what we need over the next 2 or 3 turns is very good. There's a lot of weird games where you've assembled a lock, but it's not very strong, and your opponent might have card draw effects to weasel through your lock. So having the Fomori Volt to speed up that weird 2 to 4 turns where your opponent still kind of has a chance to draw really well if their library's stacked in just the right way where they can get through your lock. Primordial Bolt closes that much more quickly than normal. We're going to be running 4 fast lands. We have 2 pathways because our color requirements aren't super bad, and we only run 2 colors in the deck. And then we have 4 fetches, 2 swamps, a forest, and an overgrown tomb. The fetches are really valuable in Lantern in particular because if you see the top card of your library and you don't like it, then you can shuffle it away. Just keep that in mind. There's lots of little decisions you can make to make your draw steps slightly better. End tutorial. I'm going to be talking about the sideboard, which is a little funky, so I'm going to try and explain. So we currently have 2 Damping Spheres. Those are pretty common to address Tron and Storm. I have a Soulless Jailer here to answer Goryo's in Storm, and other graveyard decks that are going to be hanging around. The Exile Clause is for Storm in particular, but there's a lot of graveyard stuff that would be nice for. I'm going to be running 1 Curse Totem in case we fight Nadu or Yawgmoth. It slows them down. It's not fantastic right now, but there are enough decks running around where I think I want 1 Curse Totem. An extra Pithing Needle is going to be here for decks that run a lot of activated abilities that are problematic. So Curse Totem matchups are good examples. So Nadu, Yawgmoth, Tron has a lot of activated abilities. Soul Guide Lantern is just a graveyard removal spell that's tutorable with Urza Saga. Sometimes this is a Nihil Spell Bomb. Sometimes this is a Stone Eric. It depends on who's playing the deck. Sometimes I think people run, what's it called? Relic of Progenitus, that's what it's called. So there's a lot of 1-mana artifacts you can use in Soul Guide Lantern's spot. I just like Soul Guide because if I board it in against Boros, then I can ping a Flage and then I can exile the graveyard later. But I think this and Nihil Spellbomb are the 2 most popular. 3 Terra Sunders are mostly for decks that run the One Ring or Planeswalker-oriented decks. So if we're playing against One Ring Control, or we're playing against Tron, Terra Sunders are going to come in. It's also very good against Necro. They're a One Ring deck, and they rely very heavily on an enchantment, and we can get rid of those. Ashiok is my fun of here. I was going to add a second Grafdigger's Cage in the board because I keep boarding it in against people, and I think it's worth having one in the sideboard. Ashiok shuts off all searches on you that your opponents make in their library. So it shuts off fetches, it shuts off Court of Calling, it shuts off Urza Saga completely. So even though it costs 3 mana, its effect is very powerful in the meta right now. And it's a good clock on your opponent. It makes them mill 20 cards if they don't interact with it in any way. It's also a very good distraction in decks like Esper Goryo, where they have a removal package that's very versatile in Prismatic Ending, but they want to be hitting your Ensnaring Bridge and your Grafdigger's Cage. They don't really want to be spending 3 mana to be killing a Planeswalker. So I think Ashiok, when people see that, they say kill on sight and they get very distracted, and that's very good. It's still very powerful, so I understand why they do that. But Collective Brutality is a weird sideboard card that's used in a bunch of different ways. So, it can be used in aggressive matchups to strip burn spells out of your opponent's hand or be a bad removal spell. You don't normally use the drain side, but that is an effect that you can use if you want to. It's also very good at dumping your hand for Ensnaring Bridge if you need a fast bridge to lock your opponent out as soon as possible. So that's very helpful. The Discard Clause is also very effective against some control decks or against some combo lists. So Collective Brutality is a very well-rounded spell that you'll see me board in a lot of places, even if all the effects aren't relevant. A lot of players are running 3 Brutalities, 2 to 3. I don't like running 3 Brutalities, I feel like. They're very useful when Burn and Prowess are in the meta, but there's not a lot of those floating around right now. So instead, I'm going to be running something weird. I'm going to be running a copy of Legion's End. So exile, it costs 1 and a black. It's a sorcery. Exile target creature an opponent controls with mana value 2 or less, and all creatures that player controls the same name. Then that player reveals their hand, exiles all cards with that name from their hand and graveyard. Beep beep. Editing into I have to get in once a video, it seems. And this time it is to clarify something on Legion's End. Even though I just read the card word for word, I did not, or just now, I didn't realize at the time that Legion's End doesn't strip things out of your opponent's library. It only strips things out of your opponent's hand and things that are the same name on the battlefield. So it's a good token wiper against something like Rhinos, but it's not good against the cards that I'm claiming it is in the deck tech, and you will see me make a misplay or misunderstand the card's function during these matches. So just be prepared for that. Yes, I read the card wrong. It's bad. I'm not going to include it in the future. I'll get to it in the conclusion. Back to the video. So Legion's End is like a surgical extraction, but is also a creature removal spell and is a token wiper. I wanted to put this in because, in particular, Tamiyo is a big problem for Lantern control. If your opponent never flips over Tamiyo and just generates clues and draws 2 or 3 cards a turn, it is very annoying to control the top card of their library, because they will almost certainly draw into more cantrips, some of which are at instant speed, which means that it's hard to manipulate the top card of their library with any consistency. So Legion's End can target a Tamiyo early on in the game and get rid of it forever. I also think it's a good in Boros. If your opponent spams a bunch of tokens, or if they cast an Ajani early, then you can get rid of that as well. And you never have to deal with the Ajani ever again, because it strips out all of the cards from their deck if it resolves. I think it's a bit of a narrow and overcosted removal spell, but, or like on its face, but in the current meta, I want to give it a shot and see if it works. The last card that we're going to talk about is Toxic Deluge. A very popular deck in the format right now is Boros-based energy aggro. The deck goes very wide, which means that Ensnaring Bridge isn't as good as it normally is in the meta. So a lot of people have been testing out cards like Bontu's Last Reckoning, which is another 3-mana board wipe. And they've been seeing some success with those in the sideboard. So I'm trying out Toxic Deluge, which is the other one that's being talked about right now. I don't like that Bontu's Last Reckoning makes you not untap your lands for a turn. That can kill you against a deck that is running a bunch of 1-drops with 1 power and can still get through your Ensnaring Bridge. So I think paying 1 or 2 life with the Deluge is just fine. But we'll see. I also like the less intensive color requirement on these spells. And that's the deck. Before we get into game 1, I have posted the deck list in the description on my Moxfield. I'll also post my Moxfield account, so if you want to see some of the other Lantern brews that I have put together, then go ahead, check that out. The Lantern Community Discord is going to be in the description as well. That's where I talk about this deck most of the time and try and build it with other people. And there's a bunch of other friendly folks over there that will help you if you're just starting out, or if you have deck building questions or gameplay questions, anything Lantern. They'll be there. Battle time. Okay, match 1 on the play. I see 2 bridges, a bell, and some removal. It's a little flimsy, but the trophy will kind of be our Thoughtseize in a way, I think. And I can curve out turn 1, 2, 3, and I have 2 bridges in case they Thoughtseize me. I think I'm good. Opponent's on 6. Okay. Alrighty, let's do this. Turn 1 Ghoul Caller spell's a little jank, but if they don't show me anything deck defining, I might mill them and step. Utopia Sprawl. Enchantress? Oh, it's some Eldrazi ramp deck, I think. Okay. So I'm not going to mill them again, because that feels future Emrakul's. I could take them away forever. This is interesting. They probably run... They might run Karn. I don't know if they run Karn. If they're not a Tron Shell, they probably don't run Karn, but if they're like a Devotion ramp list, they probably run Karn. This is weird. I'm trying to think if I trophy this forest to set them back a land, or if I surgical this Emrakul. I'm kind of tempted to mill them again just for info. I don't think that's going to change the course of the game. Let's try it. Okay, I hit another Utopia Sprawl. I don't care about that. I don't think that whatever they ramp into next turn is going to be a big concern, unless it's Blood Moon, but then I guess I can fetch around that, see what they do. Okay, Stirrings. Sure. Find a Talisman of Impulse. I think, yeah, it's a green-red one. Okay. Okay, and they have a waste as well. I'm not sure what to do here. I think I'll hold on to the trophy. I'm just gonna fetch an overgrown tomb. Oh, I milled it already. Oops. All right, well, I fetched a swamp. I'm gonna hold on to the surgical as well. Run out this bridge. So next turn they can Myco spawn on curve if they have a land. Oh no, they can just do that. Anyway, sorry. They have 4 mana, right? So if they have a soul land, they could kick a Myco spawn. Okay. I think I'm going to continue milling with the bell just so that I can use my surgical. Okay, hit a stirrings. That's not so bad. Alright, Thoughtseize is really good. I'm going to fire that off right now. Sowing Myco spawns and Ugin's Labyrinths. There's not a whole lot going on over there. I think I'm gonna fetch this, grab a forest, and slam a second bridge. They could run Ulamog, but I have the Mycosynth Gardens for that. Okay, they're gonna kick a Myco spawn. I'm not worried about that. They probably target my... Yeah, they target Mycosynth. Okay, so now Ulamog will be an issue. Ooh, I find a World Breaker. I think I stopped... wait. Pay 3, sacrifice a land. They can't do this right now, but they can do it at instant speed. So I'm going to want to do that before I pass. I'm going to surgical that. Oh, whoops. That's not how that works. I can't tap green for a surgical. I will copy this. I'll take all these out. It looks like they have nothing relevant except for these Emrakul to Promised Ends. Do they have Boseiju? They do not. Okay. So yeah, we're good. I'm just milling. Chilling and milling. Yeah, they have no way of getting rid of this bridge at all. They don't even run Karns. So I'm just looking for Codex Shredders. Okay, they take away my Blooming Marsh. That's fine. I'll just grab Catacombs right now. I think I'm also going to trophy my opponent because I don't care about... Wait, hold on. Does Emrakul have... Hold on. This has protection from instants. Yeah, so the trophy can't do anything to the Emrakul anyways. So technically speaking, the only way that I could lose this in theory is my opponent does Emrakul, and then they can get my Assassin's Trophy with a Codex Shredder. Quick editor's note, Assassin's Trophy does not target things that you control. It can only target things an opponent controls. So my opponent could never answer the ensnaring bridge that I had. Back to video. So they pop a Codex Shredder, grab my own trophy, and then they have to blow up all of my bridges somehow. Yeah, that doesn't seem realistic to me. Alright, well there's that Emrakul. I'm gonna crack this fetch now so that they can't see my deck. They have a... they get my Profane Tutor, sure. Oh, how nice of them. They suspended it for me. I milled another Codex Shredder. Okay. They're drawing cards off the One Ring, so it doesn't really matter. But... Okay, another Profane Tutor suspended. That might mean that they have a second Emrakul that they're going to fetch stuff with. Actually, that makes sense. Yeah, if they Profane Tutored on purpose, then yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, Kozilek's command for 12. Okay. So they'll have seen all of their library at this point, because they Kozilek's commanded for a bunch last time as well. I think at least for 6. So they know if they win. I'll stop on end step. I'm not going to crack this bauble until I know that I'm going to have a turn that I can control. Yeah, that's fine. You can have Emrakul. I will continue to mill myself. If I hit a second trophy in the graveyard, that'd be amazing, because they probably tutor for one of those. If they expect me to have one. They may not. Oh, they're tutoring. They could also just, well, okay, they see my library. They might just want to see what my deck is before they scoop up as well. Yeah, Surgical doesn't do anything to myself. I don't deal damage to myself. Okay. They drew Surgical, and I assume... Okay. Never mind. I assume my opponent wanted to try and Surgical something. I don't know. But then I naturally drew the trophy, so I'm not sure. But either way, game is done. For game 2, I want Terra Sunders. Surgical looks like it's okay. They are just like a bona fide Eldrazi rampless. They're not Tron. So that means that they probably have some standard artifact hate that I might need to worry about. Damping Sphere isn't going to do a whole lot. Their only acceleration is Ugin's Labyrinths and Eldrazi Temples. Pithing Needle for the ring and Worldbreaker is nice. And it can hit Ugin's Labyrinth and lock something under the Ugin's Labyrinth. What comes out? Cage comes out. Cookbook comes out. Is that it? That might be it. Do they search their library? Oh, whoops. Do I want Ashiok? They don't search their library. They only do that with Prismatic Vista. And I don't think we're going to get in a situation where milling them for 20 cards really matters. So I probably don't bother boarding that in. Probably just trim baubles. This hand is turn 1 Lantern, turn 2 Play Saga Tutor, turn 3 I'm on the Construct game. I doubt I'm beating them with combat damage. But this can tutor a ring and it can tutor the other lock piece. Profane Tutor can look for Ensnaring Bridge. No Thoughtseize means that I'm trusting that their hand is not good, and they instant mulliganed. Okay. Normally I would get rid of this, but I don't need to dump my hand very quickly with Bridge, so this is probably okay. Oh, cool. That's a great draw. I will go... I need to fetch a Swamp, or a black mana source. So I have the forest, so I'll just do Swamp. I'll just run out the Lantern to see what they are drawing. So they have a Malevolent Rumble. Play Labyrinth with nothing under it. Not sure how I feel about drawing a second tutor, but it's not terrible. I'll take it. They have an Emrakul on top. Opponent plays Utopia Sprawl and is tapping for 4 mana. Nope. Just kidding. We're doing Malevolent Rumble first. Okay. Ah, they have Trinisphere. I see. What's the play? Third Urza Saga is good because they have a Trinisphere. So the more of those that I have, the better. I could just run out... I could run out a single forest. Play Codex Shredder. I control their library now. They put Sowing Mycospawn in their hand, so Urza Saga is actually not going to tick up to 3. Because they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana if they have a land. So I might just make a construct out of this. I could also put out another Saga right now. Actually, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to play a Saga. I'm going to Shredder. They don't have a ton of good draws in their deck, so I want to... So one Millrock is fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Oh, they have 6 mana. Just kidding. They didn't even need the land that I said that they needed. But yeah, okay. Urza Saga's gone. Oh, they have a Kozilek's Command on top. I wanted to get rid of that. Oops. No matter. I can do it this turn. I will not cast the tutor. We find Urza Saga number 3. That's good. I'm gonna Codex Shredder first. They have a Worldbreaker on top. I don't have a bridge out right now, so I don't think I care too much if they have... Well, they can cast Worldbreaker and target my Urza Saga. That is a 5/7 Eldrazi. Interesting. I think I play my next Urza Saga. I hold up a Construct token. I think I just continue to spam the tokens. I still have a ton of land drops. Or even better, I can play the Catacombs. I can shuffle away the Stirrings that I'm not really excited to draw. Yeah, me missing that Kozilek's command mill was not great. Oh, they're targeting the swamp. Interesting. I'm just going to do this now. I'm not sure how the floating mana priority works on MTGO, if it passes automatically. Oh, I have a bridge on top. Cool. Well, that's got to make mana. I don't have a choice there. I think I'm going to get a Pixis. Yeah, that makes sense, because then if I mill over any more World Breakers, I can just get rid of them for sure. I can also slam a bridge. I'm going to start with shredding them and seeing what their next draw is. Coast is clear. Ooh, they have a Force of Vigor on top of their library. So I definitely need to keep this Pixis held up. Never mind. They're going to mill away the Force of Vigor. Probably going to look for another World Breaker, if I had to guess. They choose Sowing Mycospawn. So they did find another way to attack Urza Saga. Or maybe the Swamp. Maybe they target the Swamp. No, they don't. Okay. Saga's gone. Works for me. Then I can keep this Codex Shredder. Oh, I can't cast it. Oops. I have a land on top. That's really good. That's super necessary. Okay, so I think I see their plan. They're probably going to try and bury me in mana denial. And then that way I can't cast all the cards in my hand. Thankfully, I am about to play Blooming Marsh. Pithing Needle's nice. I'll continue playing my Mill Rocks. And at this point, I think it's safe to start milling them aggressively. So I do want to mill this Ancient Stirrings that they have anyways, but... Okay, Kozilek, I need to Pixis away, because that shuffles back in. I did lose my Pithing Needle, but that's not a big deal. I might Profane Tutor for another Urza Saga. Because I don't really care about how many cards I have in my hand necessarily anymore. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I could also just grab another bridge and just chill. Because I only have one bridge right now that is a little exposed. That might be the safer option. Yeah, I think that's the safer option. So I'm going to have 3 cards in hand this turn, but I can manipulate my own library to hit lands from here on out. I just need to remember... Oh no, Verdant Catacombs can grab my Overgrown Tomb, so I have 1 more fetchable. That's something to note. Yep, more Myco spawns. Okay, I will Shredder myself. That's a land, perfect. Okay. And I'll just boop them once. Do that. I will not play the bridge yet. I'll play a Ghoul Color spell first. That Terrace Under on top is really nice. I don't think I want to give them Malevolent Rumble, because I can get them into a World Breaker. Second Trinisphere is okay. Alright, so never mind. I'm not attacking their Trinispheres, I don't think, anymore. I still could. I could still just draw the Terrace Under. Yeah, I might just do that. Opponent is very content with sticking around for a while. Works for me. And exile World Breaker with Pixis. Okay, they're going to shuffle it away to try and preserve their World Breakers. That makes sense. Their 4th Sowing Mycospawn is gone. So Mana Denial plan is no longer online for them. I will play a second bridge. Pass the turn. Alright, opponent scoops it up. That's a very good match for us, or a very good matchup. They don't have interaction for the Ensnaring Bridge, and they have a lot of big beefy creatures, so I don't really need a big lock to kill them. So, unfortunate matchup for my opponent. But yeah, good start to the league. We're up 1-0. Alright, match 2. So, judging off the last couple of leagues that I've done, there's a lot of Boros running around. There seems to be a surprising amount of Eldrazi between like all the Tron variants and the Aggro variants. Alright, starting on the draw. Opponent reveals Gigantha, so it's probably Boros Energy. I'm not a super big fan of keeping a 4-lander versus Boros, but I do have a Thoughtseize, I do have a Bridge, I do have a Saga that I can make a blocker for on one of my turns as well. So I think I keep this. Alright, turn 1 Ocelot Pride. Yeah, so we're against some Boros variant. Oof, we hit a 5th land. That's bad. Okay, I'm going to fire off the Bauble targeting them. They're drawing a Static Prison. Alright, opponents got removal into Johnny and 2 lands. Cool. Okay, we hit a Stirrings. So next turn I can play Stirrings, and then I can play Saga, and then probably spin into another 1-drop artifact. I would be happy with the second Bridge as well. But opponent's on a slow start. Ooh, Profane Tutor's slow. Okay. I think I suspend the Profane Tutor this turn. I think I'm gonna Saga. This is probably gonna look for a cookbook. Okay, they have an Arena of Glory. So stuff's gonna crash in faster than it normally does. So I'm gonna run the Ensnaring Bridge into that Static Prison. That's my plan. Trophy's interesting. Okay, so I can trophy the Static Prison. That's really good. Does it matter what land I play? Not really. I'll just run out the Gardens. I probably should have played something that taps for a colored source in case I draw another Saga, because then I could have played that down and then had the Ancient Stirrings, or the trophy held up. Opponent bolts me. They should know what the dealio is now. At the very least, if they don't know I'm on Lantern itself, they know I'm on something where Galvanic Discharge doesn't matter, and the bolt is not going to be a removal spell. Steals my Bridge. Ooh, they just stick a Bone Crusher. Okay. Okay, they crash in for 3. Yeah, so I think my plan next turn is Saga's gonna fetch a cookbook, because I need to stop this damage. I'm gonna... What do I tutor with this Profane Tutor, though? Do I tutor? So 4 lands, trophy, cookbook, discard a land, crack it for life. How many cards does that put me? That puts me at 2 cards in hand. This will put me at 3 cards in hand. I might just tutor a Bridge anyways. I'm going to draw a card too, so I'm going to go up to 6 cards. Cookbook will put me at 5. Slamming a Bridge will put me down at 4. Yeah, I'm going to fetch a Bridge, I think. What do I draw? Lantern is good, because that's a 1-mana artifact. I can just dump that on the table. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. They're going to crack in for 5 this turn. They have another Bone Crusher on top. If I desperately need my hands to be empty too, I can always Ancient Stirrings and fail to find. Or just choose not to reveal, rather. It's not a search. Would be technically the wrong term. Yeah, opponent having a Flage on top means that I would ideally like to find a Cage soon. I absolutely need to cookbook this turn. Thinking what I discard. I think I discard the Stirrings, because it's a strain on my colored mana sources. It's either that or the Catacombs. So I think next turn what's going to happen is that I'm going to trophy that Bridge. Or that Static Prison. I think I'm going to start with that first. And see what they do. I want to see if they keep that Flage on top. And then I'm going to play Catacombs. And then, depending on what they do here, I either play the Lantern. Oof. Yeah, okay, I have to play the Lantern. Or they can have a Static Prison right now. No, I don't let them have a Static Prison. So I'm going to play my second lantern. I'm going to crack it and make them shuffle. Guide of Souls is fine. And now I have no cards in hand. Yep, they put me in 2. So they have a Galvanic Discharge in hand and nothing else. So I think we're good. As long as we can find a Mill Rock. So I'm going to crack this, go to 1, Overgrown Tomb, enters tapped. Perfect, Codex Shredder's on top. Sweet. I think we get here at this point. It's still kind of dicey, but like they could chain together some good draws, but I'm liking my odds. So I think what I'm going to do here is copy the Codex Shredder with the Mycosynth Gardens. And then next turn I can start cracking foods. Make a food. I will crack a food. Now let's go fast lock mode. End step, I will make them mill that bolt, and they can have the arena. Cool, I can find a cage too, so I can shut off Flage forever. Okay, opponent has an Ajani on top. I don't like that. That has to go. Alright, opponent scoops it up. So, game 2. That's awesome. We were on the draw too. That did get scary. They had a very slow start. But so Toxic Deluge, the Legion's End was partially for this matchup. Collective Brutality is our additional removal spell. It also helps us hand dump. I think 2 Needles is enough in this matchup. Grafdigger's Cage seems nice. I am a little bit concerned that I'm running Grafdiggers just for Flage and it still doesn't stop them from casting it. Let's start by removing Surgicals. I don't think this is the matchup for those. Profane Tutor's a little bit slow. So I can trim one of those, I think. Yeah, okay. So I have room for Cage still, I think. Or I can even put in a Soul Guide Lantern. Maybe that's better than Cage. Because this can cycle to draw a card if it's not useful early game. Nah, I think I want to keep in the Cage. I'll take out a 3rd Bauble. Am I liking how it looks? Yeah, I'm liking how it looks. Okay, this has no lands. Opponent mulled to 6 as well. I turn 1 Shredder, turn 2 Cage Needle, turn 3 hope I hit mana that taps for black. This doesn't do anything against a deck that goes very fast. I think I go to 5 here. They kept their 6. Oh no. Okay. How does this work? I think I would keep like this. So basically, I have a chance to draw into a land. Lantern Shredder will also help me get there. Deluge, I really need to gun for. And just hope that my opponent can't recover quite properly. I don't think I can go to 4 and expect it to go well, because I do have some removal in the deck. They have enough removal. Maybe I should have went to 4. Okay, turn 1 Guide of Souls. Alright. Oh, we hit a land. Oh, that's nice. Okay. Turn 1 Lantern. My opponent getting an unstable amulet's gonna hurt. Oh, they have Harsh Mentor. Okay. If there's a land on top, which there is not, okay. So I'm probably gonna have to take a little bit of damage to try and dig for a land. Do I let them have unstable amulet? I might have to. I can fetch for a needle off the Saga. Yeah, I really need to hit a land. I think I have to proc myself. So I might even grab the 2nd Lantern. Yeah, I'm just going to throw out the 2nd Lantern right now. They can have the amulet. I'm going to go digging. I know it's going to hurt, but I gotta. This deluge is worth its weight in gold. I just want them to commit to the board a little bit more, honestly. Like this turn, if they hand dump, that would be the best thing for me. Okay, they have a Flage on top. Ah, they're doing Amulet. So I can do something interesting. I don't know if it's good. I can make them mill their Flage in response to this trigger. And then I can exile it with Soul Guide Lantern next turn. So maybe what I do first is I crack Lantern targeting myself and see what goes on top. It's going to hurt more, but I think that's just something I'm going to accept is a reality of this game, is that Harsh Mentor is going to put in some work. Maybe I'm trying to get too cute here. Flage running around on a board state like this, I don't want to happen. Oh, I could have just made them shuffle. Ah, Lantern Bug. Look at that. There's an Inquisition on top again. That sucks. I might just... Hold on. I'm taking 3 damage next turn. I've come to the conclusion that Flage is a big deal. They get a land under there. Guide of Souls is on the table. They can't pump up their Guide of Souls over there. So that means that next turn I can pay 2 life, wipe the board. I would love to have a Johnny there, but I don't get that chance. Oh wait, no, I can't Deluge because I don't have mana. Shit, okay. I can try and look for it this turn. Do I think that's worth it? Probably. They have 1 card in hand. Do I think they can flip a Johnny right away? They can haste out Flage next turn. That's where my worries should lie. Okay, so yeah, I'm not doing Deluge this turn anyways. So I think I draw this Inquisition, cast Soul Guide, target their Flage. I'm taking 4. I can make a Melissa Johnny right now. Or let's see what's on top. Okay, I have a land on top. That's really good. I'm going to mill them now. I want to see what they're doing. Okay, they're drawing a land also. That's amazing. Oh, they have 2 Flages. I'm going to have to crack this now. Okay, so I'm taking 4 next turn. So I can afford to crack this. Okay. So I'm not out of the woods, like, pretty much at all, but I can at least clear the board, and I get a chance to draw a bridge. Well, I'm going to need another land to draw a bridge, too. So, yeah, definitely not out of the woods yet. There's another Johnny. Don't love that. I'm going to be going to 1. No. Yeah, never mind. This is sketch. Oh, no, if I fetch, I take damage. Oh, that sucks. Never mind. I think I just lose. There's another Catacombs under this one. Right? Artifact, creature, or land if it isn't a mana ability. Wow. So this would be a case where Bontus would have actually technically given me a chance to stay alive. Is there a way to weasel out of this? Well, I'm going to have to do this. We're done. No way out of that. We're so close, though. That Harsh Mentor did too much damage at once. I'm thinking Profane Tutor is going to be a little... No, I don't know what I'm talking about. This is fine. The way that we ran it, I think, was okay. We're going to be on the play this time. I did mold a 5 and didn't have a bridge to stabilize. So sometimes it's just 'cause that's just how it's going to roll. Okay, opponent is... Or I have 12 minutes to win this game. Turn 1 discard, turn 2 Legion's End. I have no lock. Or no bridge. And no bridge. Does have a Saga to start me off. If I hit another land, then Trophy's probably online as well. I think I slow them down enough where I keep this hand. It's kind of sketch, but... I think I take Harsh Mentor here. They're gonna turn 1 Guide of Souls. I can turn to Needle Ajani and Grafdigger's Cage. Turn 2, I can name Amulet, and then they'll play their Ajani, and then I can Legion's End it on turn 3. That's how it goes. So I take Harsh Mentor. It's kind of weird how the Thoughtseize, they changed how Thoughtseize works. It doesn't... Normally, how it works is that it reveals this after you pick the card, and then it takes out the card that you discard. But it's not the case anymore. Now it just adds the cards in the revealed zone once you cast Thoughtseize. It's a little funky. Oh, that's actually amazing. Third land is very good here. I still run out Saga. Go Cage. Needle, Unstable Amulet. Okay, they drew a Plains recently. Wait, yes. And a Sacred Foundry, so I know what their hand is. Wait, no I don't. What am I missing? Oh, sorry, they flooded Stranded. The doy. Just kidding. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, they get in for 1. I do still need a bridge, but I'm in better shape than I was earlier. 1-drop artifact would be really nice right now, just so that I can use my mana. Of course, a bridge would also be nice, but... Okay, I hit a lands. I will Legion's End on the Ajani. Oh, does this... Oh, it only takes it from their hand. I didn't read Legion's End properly. Well, it's gone. At least it's gone. Card's not as good as I thought it was. I see why people thought I was crazy for adding this to the deck. So Legion's End is probably coming out after this league. Oh, their board is going to be so large. That's not good. That is the opposite of good. Yep, I can't block that. Okay, so what's the plan here? Am I just grabbing a cookbook, or am I grabbing a lantern so that I can get an extra shuffle towards a bridge? I think I'm grabbing a lantern. I can make a construct to block 1 damage, or 2 damage from this cat warrior. I'm still at 14, so I'm not, like, completely dead in the water. I'm just not doing great. Okay, they're gonna find their land next turn to play Flage. Okay, they play Fable. They're going the slower route. Oh, they get more energy. Oh, they get the same amount of energy this way. Okay, so Guide of Souls is gonna proc twice. So that means they're gonna have 3 flyers? They're only gonna swing with 1 creature? Okay, there we go. That makes more sense. Should have probably swung with a 3rd creature to spread the love around, but okay. Okay, that Ocelot Pride is a very obvious target for this Assassin's Trophy next turn. Okay, I'm going to 6. They have a Bolt and a Flage. Oh, they have a Bolt and a Flage. So I guess what I have to do is die. I don't think I can win anymore. Yeah, I don't think I can win anymore. Unfortunate. They got under us. I did keep a hand without a bridge. What was that, a 7-card hand? I've also learned that Legion's End is not nearly as good as I thought it was. I totally misread it. I'm going to have to go and redo the deck introduction, or at least leave a little caveat in there. Okay, match 3. Hey, we're on the play. This hand would be great if, like, any of these 2 cards was instead lands. Don't care which ones. You could even have both the bridges. Okay, double discard with Surgical is amazing. And having the bridge on top of it is really nice. But one thing has got to go back. If I had to guess what goes back, I would probably say the Inquisition goes back. Or Surgical. Maybe Surgical, would I prefer taking 2 cards out of my opponent's hand or taking 1 card away forever? I could be greedy and bottom a Swamp. Maybe I do that. Yeah, I think I'm bottoming a Swamp. This setup is going to slow my opponent down pretty much no matter what they're doing. And if it doesn't, then the surgical will kneecap them in a way that certainly will. They are really in the tank on this 7. Alright, they're here. They kept 7. They say hi. Hi, Chips and Guac. Lead on Inquisition. Huh? Oh, this is Blue-White Mill. With Solitude? What's going on over there? Okay, I'm surgicaling this crab. I don't know what they're up to 100%. I'm pretty sure that that's Mill. And if it is, then I'm very sad. I'm just gonna screen grab everything because I just got rid of the revealed cards. Yep, this is Mill. So they have... Yeah, they're gonna preordain. Oh, cool, I did get to keep the revealed cards. Archive Trap. They have 2 Ashioks on the main board. That's scary. They have Jaces. I might wait a turn on this. No, I thought these make sense to do now. And then I'll bobble myself and see if I crack the fetch this turn. Oh, none of these cards matter. Oh, whoops. that time I should have cleared it. Or should not have cleared the revealed card zone the way I did. They had, what, a second path or something? I don't care about what's in their hand. They just had 2 lands, I think. Yeah, I need to think of how I beat them. They don't have anything good in their hand, so if I can establish a lock very quickly, then I might be able to do something here. Profane Tutor is slow. Let's see, they have Pendings, they have Teferis, they have the One Ring. The One Ring's a big issue. Profane Tutor is not a land, and I need a land right now. I don't know what I'm looking for, but I think I'm looking for multiple pieces, and it doesn't necessarily matter what pieces they are, as long as they're, like, remotely lantern pieces, so I think I fetch this away. That's bad. I'm not even 100% sure that this is a matchup where I want to play my Ensnaring Bridges, because I'm probably the one that's fighting into them, but that might be something for, like, Game 2 or Game 3. Because they probably board out their paths. They're really thinking about this Surveil. So on the bright side, they are mostly a control list, and they're really taking their time on a lot of these decisions. So at least we'll be ahead on clock, so if I can get a game in here, that might matter. Okay, I knew they had that. So Fairy is not great. It's not terrible, because the bridge doesn't really matter in this matchup, so the fact that they can bounce it isn't that bad. But it's not great. They have a stop on my upkeep. They don't run any Force of Negations. But, like, they don't have anything on their deck, actually, that they can do. They just have a stop set. And they're not paying attention. Like, they're multi-queuing, or they're busy. You know, I'm really regretting bottoming that Profane Tutor right now. It's a Fairy pluses. They don't even have any counter spells. Okay. Profane Tutor came back. Okay, Jace is a problem. So 3 times 5, was it? So 15? 33. Alright, what did I mill? Lots of discard effects. 1, 2 lanterns. Basically no mill rocks. 1 bridge. And no sagas. So unfortunately the saga tokens aren't going to do a whole lot because I know that they have like Supreme Verdict and multiple spot removal spells. Right, they can also do that. Forgot they could just bounce it with the fairy. Oh wait, hold on, I want to go to end step. There's a universe where maybe Gardens copies a bridge. Oh, they found another Jace. No. Alright, this one's gonna get worse. This time they only -2. Wait, then if a graveyard has 20 or more cards in it, you draw 3 cards. Oh, I see the problem now. Cast the suspended card. Oh, I can't, because Teferi. Ruh-roh. My board is not built for mill. Normally you have an Embercool in the sideboard for the mill matchup, but it's not a large meta share of the current meta, so I don't bother with it. Okay, I'm willing to skip it up. Or actually, no, they're burning a lot of time on the clock. We're still 18 minutes in. I doubt that's gonna be a big deal. I can play to it. I guess I could fail to search. I'm flooding out. Yeah, I could fail to search, and that's one extra card. Okay, they just fire off everything now because they have an archive trap and I lose. Okay. They're preordaining. Sure. Okay, they get the first game. So, how am I beating my opponent? So they are a one-ring deck, and they run a lot of Planeswalkers, so Terra Sunder is probably going to be useful. Pithing Needle is going to be really good. Collective Brutality kills a crab and also strips mill spells out of my opponent's deck. Legion's End technically does something. I think this is a dead slot now. I'm so sad that I didn't read this right. Ashiok, I think, comes in. I think at least 2 bridges come out. My opponent is running... Oh, they only have 2 Solitudes. Never mind. All the bridges are coming out. That does not matter here. Cookbook comes out. Nothing that they have is castable from the graveyard, so Cookbook... Or the Cage comes out. Profane Tutors aren't looking so hot either because they have Teferi. So maybe the Legion's End does come in. Maybe Soul Guide Lantern just comes in because it can draw cards. I'll just run it like this. They're running... They have 2 Teferis. So I could still get away with Profane Tutor. Maybe I cut the Soul Guide Lantern and 1 Bauble. We'll try it like this. This can't cast pretty much anything. It does have an early Lantern lock, but I imagine that this doesn't get there. If this tapped for black, I might consider it. But this hand is much better. Bauble goes to the bottom. So turn 1... Ooh, turn 1 Lantern, yeah. Turn 2, I can Inquisition them. I don't have a 3rd land, but I need a 3rd land to cast both of these. I think I still bottom the Bauble. There's a lot of things that I can draw that at least give me some action based off of these 6 cards. The Bauble doesn't really do anything with the hand as it is right now. Hey, look at that, a land. Unfortunately, that doesn't cast Ashiok, but at least it casts the trophy just fine. Okay, that's an Obero. That's a Preordain. What do they draw? They kept the Preordain. And they have another Preordain on top. Okay. There's, quite frankly, too many Preordains. Terra Sunder on top is interesting. I'm going to cast Inquisition. They have double crab. Oh, they topped both cards as well. Those double crabs are going to hurt a lot. The fairy doesn't hurt very much. It only hurts a little bit. So I'm going to take the Ruin Crab because I have cards that can answer the Hedron Crab, but not the Ruin Crab. They kept in their Path to Exiles, which is interesting. Why does it say they have 2 Hedron Crabs? Wait, did they draw... Oh, they drew the crab with the Preordain. I see. Yeah, you get another Preordain. I'm not going to crack my Lantern for a cantrip. Okay, Hedron Crab. My Terra Sunder's gone. I have a Codex Shredder. That's good. Are they able to make me mill? Because I'd really like that Codex Shredder. I hope they don't. Awesome. Okay. Here's what I'm doing. I want them to draw that Solitude, I think. Yeah, they're pretty far away from it. So I'm going to run out Codex Shredder now. I'm going to wait till their draw step so they draw the Solitude. And then I can trophy the Hedron Crab. Oh. They didn't want the heat. What? Okay. What did they just draw? I missed what they just drew. Okay, well, I don't want them to have the pending. Oh, I could have waited till later. Uh-oh. I'm falling apart here. They probably slammed Teferi this turn. No, Preordained first. Okay. They do have another land they can just Teferi afterwards. But they found the ring. Okie dokie. And they slammed Teferi. Sure. I am not going to spend my trophy for mana efficiency's sake. That's not what this game's about. Stirrings can... Well, it can't needle the one ring because Teferi will bounce it. Well, it can still do that. Yeah, they just draw 1 card and then I cast it again. Yeah, I'll draw my Stirrings. Play the Stirrings. Find another Shredder. which is very tasty, scrumptious good. Thoughtseize on top. I can't get rid of the ring, unfortunately, but it's good to see that I still have some interaction hanging out. Okay, they try and fire off a Preordain. I do not want them to have that archive trap, so I'm going to make them mill first. Ooh, consigned to memory is interesting. I don't think I care if they have consigned to memory. They probably value that very highly. At this point, I'm not super worried about resolving spells anymore. The triggered ability thing does matter. They bottomed both and drew a land. They left in Supreme Verdicts, too. How bizarre. Alright. You get the ring. Yeah, I'm not going to mill that verdict in response. You can have it. So this is gone, this is gone. So it's a Windswept Heath and one other card. I think I don't need the Thoughtseize anymore. I think we're past that point. I'm looking for a way to answer the ring. Well, that don't do it. That answers crabs, but I'm not looking for answers to crabs right now. I already have one in my hand. Brutality's not it either. So I'm going to be shields down for a turn. That could be dangerous because they can draw multiple cards next turn. But... oh, but I can get Ashiok out. Do they have Surgical? Oh, they could run Surgical. What are they going to Surgical? Nothing. Okay. Just to keep me on my toes. Okay, they really want their Supreme Verdict for some reason. I will make... oh, I can't make them mill. Oh. Okay, so I'm going to eat one Archive Trap. Unfortunate. Oh, and there's a Hedron Crab right there. That's not good. Everything's falling apart. I got greedy with those Codex Shredders, I think. I didn't need to be nearly as greedy. Yeah, they still have a fetch for their crab and a Field of Ruin. Bounce a Shredder. Okay. Oh, to draw their second Archive Trap. Shit. Okay. That's bad. That's bad. Wee woo, wee woo. I'm in mega danger. Oh, they can't search from the Ashiok. Okay, so the crabs aren't nearly as scary. I forgot about that part. Woo! Alright, card worked in my favor. Okay, I still search, though. Not only that, I have to search, which means that I'm going to be milled 26 cards this turn. There's one. There's two. It's 1 mill rock, 2 mill rocks, 3 mill rocks in the graveyard. And I have 2 right here, so I only have a Pixis left in the library. Is that right? Okay. Well, gotta do it now. I will start with this Ashiok. Because I know I don't want them to have a Jace. So at least the Ashiok firing off is not a big deal. Or like I guarantee that I hit something that I care about with that. Really thinking about this one. Okay, Ruin Crab. I will play a Codex Shredder. That resolves. Cool. No crab for you. Consigned to memory is okay. I need to get rid of the Hedron Crab. They cannot get a land because of Ashiok, which is pretty cool. That's not a huge deal in this board state, I don't think, but, you know, strictly better than the alternative. Am I out of Pithing Needles? 1 needle is in the graveyard, 2 needles, 3 needles. Yeah, okay. I have no Pithing Needles. Oh? They got a land? What? How did they do that? Low what? Did I miss... Did they try and search and shuffle? Is that what happened? And I just didn't see what was going on properly? Maybe that's it. Maybe I just didn't see that correctly. I'm gonna have to go and check that. Beep, beep. I checked that. And yes, the opponent did tutor out a land, and it's not a Moto bug. Ashiok's static ability says that spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause them to search their library. However, this does not prevent them from searching their own library from effects that you control, which is outlined in this first reminder or rules info dump here. If you go to Scryfall, you can see it yourself. Yeah, they got to look for a land, so I'm glad that I blew up a crab. Otherwise, they would have gotten an extra free mill off on me. Nothing was wrong. The game is working as intended. They did search a land. Back to the video. This one ring is going to ruin my life. Okay, Teferi pluses. I think they can draw a Dovin's Veto. And they draw a Solitude and another ring. Okay. So If they play another ring, then I'm not forced to make them mill this turn. If they decide they're not playing rings anymore, then I can mill them for 6 cards a turn, and then they draw a card each turn. So that's 7 cards a turn. Their library is not a multiple of 7, though. So, like, 28 is the closest. So that's a 4-turn clock. So I have to survive for 4 turns and mill them as much as possible without missing a card. But if they draw with the 1 ring, then that goes down. They're not doing that, so I need to mill them. Do they have the surgical? Oh, I have a surgical. That's nice. There's 2 Ruin Crabs and 1 Hedron Crab. Okay, so I would want to name Hedron Crab with that, which I can fire off right now. What's in their hand again? 1 ring. That's right. I think I'm going to do that. Just going to grab that surgical, hit the Hedron Crab. They had the Dovin's Veto, so they can counter this if they want to. Yeah, okay, sure. Fine. Fire off Ashiok. Pass the turn. I shouldn't auto-pass. Alright, Fomori Volt's gone. I can't find anything in my library. I can close this. You want Solitude? You have Solitude. They can cast that to kill Ashiok. I didn't think about that. Maybe I shouldn't have let them have that. Okay, I will make you mill in response to that. Yeah, we're just gonna make the stack very annoyingly large. Okay, they're gonna preordain. They found their own Ashiok. I don't know what that is. I assume it's the Ashiok. It is the Ashiok. Okay, it's really weird. Ashiok really is just a Nightmare Weaver. They may have drawn a second Dovin's Veto that I don't recall. So they might be trying to counter my Codex Shredder here. I only have 6 cards in my library. I might not win anymore. Oh, everything is just blank on the stack now. That's great. We have a mystery stack. Opponent's asking what my win con is. Yeah, nothing. I'm dead, more than likely. But we're on the last game. I need to make you play it out. For my own... I need to get that Archive Trap gone. I have 1 more turn. Yeah, I don't win this. Oh, I don't think they've seen Lantern before. I think they're just asking because they don't know. Okay. What is it? Oh, it's the Ashiok trigger. Okay, they're doing the ring. Do they lose? I think they lose like that. Unless they can make me mill right now. They only have 4 cards in library. Oh, okay, they can pending. Oh, this is another ring. I see. So I respond by making them mill. I don't think it matters, but sure, whatever. Yeah, you can have your other ring. They might have thrown this game. Oh, you know what? If they have... No, they can't, what's it called? They can't run out a Consigned to Memory on Ashiok because Ashiok is an activated ability, not a triggered ability. So yeah, are they able to make me mill a card? Are they able to force me to draw a card? Okay. All right, no, never mind. They weren't thinking and didn't realize it was a mill race. I even told them that my win con was mill. It's funny. All right, at least it feels like good vibes. But I am very scared for what happens in game 3, though. Like, my opponent has so many things that I can't answer effectively that I don't think I can win from here. Or, like, I don't think I can win game 3. I'm happy that I can knock a game off at least, even if it is a little, like, you know... even though if it was more my opponent stumbling than me doing well. Makes me feel a little better. Oh, they're only on 5 minutes left. Hitting one of my Codex Shredders wouldn't necessarily matter because I still have Ashiok, but... Okay, so their sideboard plan looks like Consigned to Memory. They probably board in more. Because they just realized, or they might have learned that their paths and their supreme verdicts are borderline useless. I don't think that changes what I board in, though, because the only things that I'm considering are, like, putting these back into the deck. And I don't want to take anything out. So I'll just run it back. They only have 5 minutes on the clock. They might lose to time. That's a real concern for them. Turn 1 Inquisition, turn 2 I can double Mill Rock, or if they play Crab, I can kill that too. I like this hand. At least this guy seems friendly. I feel kind of bad playing for the timeout. I salute you, Chips and Guac. Wherever you are, whatever deck you're playing, seems like you're vibing. That's the important part. This is a game, so having fun is technically the priority here. Okay, so they have an Archive Trap. Yeah, they have an Archive Trap that I can't take, but I can take this pending. Until that Archive Trap is gone, my Verdant Catacombs is a problem. Although, next turn they might be able to send it off. What am I doing? Oh, they can't veto this turn. So I think what I'm doing is playing a Gardens. We're gonna start with a Needle. Jace the Perfected Mind is what I'm gonna name first. And then I think I just run out of Shredder. Well, I can. And then I start milling them as aggressively as possible. That seems like the play. I'm not sure what I'm doing next turn. I think I need to see what I draw first. There's a world where I might crack the Catacombs into Archive Trap, but I don't know. I want to avoid that as much as possible because this is going to cut it close. They could have gotten stuffed on lands. Oh wait, hold on. I didn't see what they did with the Preordain. Oh, they topped both. I should have made them mill before they draw. Or before they drew. That's my bad. We've identified a misplay, this best of 3. Crab. Crab and pass. Okay. Well, you're going to mill. No land for you. Oh, that's good. So I can take 1 mill from the Hedron Crab here. I can Thoughtseize, take their Archive Trap, play a Needle, and name probably Ashiok. Yeah. I'm gonna do that. They drew a Jace too. So their hand is this. This. Ashiok. Oh, Ashiok Dream Render shuts off my own, though. So maybe I do name Field of Ruin. And then that doesn't help them mana fix. What else did they have? Okay, and then I can fetch for this right now. Okay, they found a fetch. So they can Dovin's Veto. Oh, okay, they do know what Lantern is. Okay, so I think what I'm doing this turn is I'm going to have to fire off the trophy into the Dovin's Veto, and then I can copy a Codex Shredder with the Gardens. I think that's just what I'm doing. Okay, trophy the Crab, end step. Oh, they let it happen. Whoa! Did they have an Ashiok? That's kind of crazy. I was not expecting that to happen. Oh, Terra Sunder's really good. Terra Sunder really bails me out here. Oh, they're trying to proc Field of Ruin. Sorry. Okay, they play the ring. I'm gonna mill them in response. Okay. And fun trick here. I can respond to their 1-ring trigger, or their 1-ring draw card trigger by exiling it, and then they don't draw anything. I've wanted to do that for a while now, but I was in the wrong color pair Lantern deck to play that. So. Alright, go Surveil. They topped it, so that means I have to mill them in upkeep. Extra mill rock for the squeeze. Upkeep, you mill. They kept the land on top? Were they just expecting me to do that? Alright, they probably just run out of Jace. Or it seems like that's what they are trying to do. I don't know if that's correct. Oh, they concede. Alright, much love, Chips and Guac. Much love. Against all odds, we beat Mill. Blue-Black Mill is a much worse matchup because they're pretty dedicated to the Mill plan. Blue-White Mill is much slower and interaction-focused. So if there was a deck that we were going to muscle out, it was that one. Wow, against all odds, we're up 2-1. On to match 4. Match 4, right? Yeah, match 4. Let's close out this league. It's been a couple days. We're 2-1. Yeah, 2-1. Perfect. We're on the play. This hand is really leaning on the power of Pithing Needle, and I don't think in the blind that makes a lot of sense. So I'm going to mull this. Cookbook is not great. Bobble's just a redraw anyways. This hand is significantly better. I think I'm happy with everything in my hand right now, so I might just bottom the Stirrings. So, like, turn 1 Lantern, turn 2 Shredder. I'll know what their deck is, so I can do a Blind Needle. I could Stirrings instead of the Needle. Actually, that might be a little bit safer. Because then I can look for a 3rd land, potentially, on turn 2 if I need it. I might be underrating the Needle in the meta right now, but I think I could safely bottom that in game 1. Maybe game 2, that's a different case. But... Alright, I'll shock in the land. They have a Watery Grave, and... Okay, we're against Blue-Black Murktide. Cool. So the fight is going to be over this Ensnaring Bridge, 100%. I don't think I care about milling their Murktide necessarily, so I think what I'm going to do this turn... Well, let's see what's on top of the deck. Okay, it's a land. Yeah, so I can go Profane Tutor next turn. I'll secure my 3rd land drop. And then next turn, I can throw down a Kodak Shredder, try and bait out a counterspell, and then I can Stirrings and look for another Mill Rock or something else they might care about. So I'm not going to slam Bridge turn 3, I don't think. Stirrings is going to come in clutch here, I think. I think I prefer that over the Pithing Needle. So I think I like my mulligan choice. Okay, they shock in a Watery Grave. They're holding up Counterspell and Bowmasters right now. Makes sense to me. Okay, we have another Lantern on top. That's not fantastic. Not really what I'm looking for. So here's what I'm gonna lead on. I'm gonna lead on Codex Shredder. This represents a lock, so they're more likely to counterspell this. Okay, it resolved. That's good. I'll run out Stirrings. So I do have to keep in mind that they do have a Murktide in hand already. So I will be fueling their graveyard with these Shredders, but I don't think I want anything else in here anyways. Maybe an extra land would have been nice, but maybe they counter the second one. They have like Preordains and stuff, so they can kind of fight through the first card in the lock, but the second card's going to be a lot harder for them. I'm really looking for a Thoughtseize to clear the way. Alright, they're on a Death Shadows list. If never mind, sorry. They may not be on a Death Shadows list. They might just realize that their life total is purely a resource for them to exploit. Because I'm not going to be pressuring it until I find a Urza Saga. They could be on a Death Shadow build. Them playing that tapped means probably not. Okay. At least their clock is very slow right now. I think right now I'm leaning on making them mill over me milling my own Ancient Stirrings. So I'm going to mill them first. They find a Fatal Push. I don't really care about that. Do I? I think I draw this Ancient Stirrings. Oh, duh. I'm not going to draw it anyway. I'm going to Profane Tutor instead. I will cast this. I think I'm looking for Thoughtseize. Maybe Inquisition is better because I'm looking for counterspells specifically, but... And all the counterspells that I care about are Inquisitionable, but if they don't have any counterspells in hand, then I can take the Murktide. Oh, never mind. They tapped out for the counterspell. Awesome. In that case, I could Stirrings for a land and then Bridge. And there's a land. Perfect. Grab the Saga. Play the Saga. Bridge is on the table. Lock assembled. Alright, they play Psychic Frog. So they could still have a Sink into Stupor in their hand. That would be the thing I'm most concerned about right now. So I do kind of want to Thoughtseize just to make sure that doesn't happen. 3rd Shredder. Do I even want a 3rd Shredder? I'll say yes. Maybe I don't. So I know they have a Fatal Push. So this first construct is just going to eat removal, but I could make a second construct as well. End step, I think I'm making Saga tokens over the Gardens copying something. Let me see if I can mill into a Thoughtseize. I don't care about Cage. I'm happy with the Fomori Revolt. I think. I'll make a mill there, Consider. Oh, that's right. Our Mage's Charm can steal the Lantern, which is kind of funny. I'm not copying anything this turn. I will take a Pixis, I think. I don't think there's any Pithing Needle targets I care about in their deck. Okay, I'm gonna make them mill on upkeep. Yep, they Fatal Push the Construct, that makes sense. You cannot have the card draw Counterspell Machine stealing the Mill Rock thingy. Not allowed. Okay, opponent plays Murktide. So I'm still very much in the business of looking for a Thoughtseize. They can have Counterspell. I think I'm looking for discard. So they are representing 8, 9, 10, 11 points of damage next turn. That doesn't kill me. So I think what I'm doing this turn is doing the spinning the vault. Oh, there's Thoughtseize. Damn it. If I kept digging, I would have found it. I tried to play too safe. So if I know I'm getting Thoughtseize next turn, I think I just run out. Oh wait, no, hold on. I can hold up Mycosynth Gardens this turn and copy the Ensnaring Bridge in response if they try and bounce it. Oh wait, hold on. Yeah, Psychic Frog doesn't have anything to eat in the graveyard, so it can't fly. I was about to say, I should probably be a little bit worried about letting Psychic Frog do an attack because they can pump it up and then make it fly. Wait, hold on. So 9, 10, 11. They have 2 cards in hand, so this could be 11 damage between these two. 12 if they draw another card. Then the Bowmasters will deal another damage between the two of them. I think I'm okay. I don't think I want them to have Fatal Push in this situation. Opponent gets in with the frog. They're going to make it fly. Dump your hand? No, they just want to draw a Bowmasters. That's allowed. I will copy Bridge on end step. The only thing they can really do is bounce it, so I'm just going to recast it next turn. Cool. We got 2 bridges. I should be safe now. Yeah, they can have Counterspell. I will even take a peek at their hand. What you up to over there? Bowmaster, that probably means the rest of their hand is just lands. Oh, yeah, okay, they could just dump it all. Never mind. Cool. Yeah, at this point I'm just milling Shouldrids and sink into Stupors, and I think I win the game. And Otawara, if they run it. Mill you. Actually, I should mill with the Pixis first. I don't want Thoughtseize. Pithing Needle's fine. I guess this will just name Psychic Frog. Actually, they run Doubthies, right? I didn't see any. I'm not going to worry about it. Mill them. Mill them. Mill them. I'll keep the bridge, why not? It doesn't matter. Never hurts to have extra bridges. If you can cast them all. As long as they're on the table. Okay, they're just burning out my clock. Okay, cool. So they did run, I think it was 2 Sink into Stupors. I actually shouldn't have clicked through that. I wanted to look at their deck. Oops. That's okay, though. What I'm bringing in, not the Needle. I think these 3 cards come in, for sure. Collective Brutality is a discard spell in this matchup, and sometimes it can pick off things like Bowmasters. If they run Doubthies as well, Collective Brutality can ping those. I don't think the Legion's End makes any sense. I am 100% taking out Legion's End after this league. That was a poor choice on my part. I don't have a lot to board in this matchup, I don't think. Like, Soulless Jailer doesn't do anything because they're only using their graveyard for Delve. So I think Grafdiggers applies there as well. I don't think I need the Cookbook, but if they run Shouldred... Or I didn't see Shouldred. They might board it in. So I might just leave in Cookbook. The Pithing Needles are good against Doubthies and Psychic Frogs. We didn't see Doubthies, but they could board them in. They're probably boarding in, like, Force of Negations and stuff. I don't think I care about Terra Sunder in this matchup. I don't... Ashiok exiles graveyards. Maybe I put in Ashiok. No, I don't even care about attacking the graveyard that hard. I don't need to dedicate a lot of resources to that. Surgicals are good to bait out counter spells, I think. If they counter one thing, then I can surgical that counter spell away for good. Yeah, I think it's just this. I think our deck is pretty well built to roll Murktide. This is mean. I think I like this. I don't know if I can slow them down fast enough if I'm on the draw with this. Like, if they turn one Thoughtseize and take my Lantern away, this hand feels kind of weird, but I do think that their top deck ability isn't amazing. See, they mulled to 6. Okay. Alright, turn 1. Whoops, turn 1. I want to stop them from playing a 2-drop creature to start clocking me. So I'm gonna play Inquisition and just see what they've got going on over there. Okay, so I'll take the frog, because that's what they're doing right now, is frogging. Next turn, I can lead on Thoughtseize and see if they counter it, and if they don't, then I can take a counterspell and then Lantern. Yeah, I don't need to slam turn 1 Lantern, because I'm going to see their hand at some point, almost certainly. They top deck the land. Profane Tutor's interesting. I think I can just run that out. And then next turn I can start being mean and tearing their hand to shreds. Okay, Consider's gone. They topped their Surveil. Okay, they found another frog. That's not good. Okay, lead on Thoughtseize. Murktide, Sink, and Force. They have a lot of cards in graveyard, so Murktide is going to be very large very soon. But next turn, I can tutor for a bridge and just lock it out forever. So I don't think I take Murktide here. I think I'm going to take Force and Sink with the second Thoughtseize and then play Lantern. Maybe I should have run out the Lantern first just to make sure that they don't have anything that I care about on top, but that's okay. I'm not going to be drawing this trophy because of the tutor on the stack. Okay, they're going to have to draw Consider. I think that's okay. Okay, let's go find a bridge. I don't think Inquisition matters, but I can at least dump it out of my hand, which is nice. So I think I'm going to Inquisition first. They're going to Consider. Yep. All right, yeah, and then I just take the counterspell anyways. Or yeah, they're just going to pitch it to the frog. Never mind. That makes more sense. Oh, but that means the frog can't attack anymore. Awesome. Yep, you have a Murktide. I have Bridge. And I have a Fomori Volt, so I can start looking for mill rocks. They're representing Force of Negation on top of their library. They might not cast the Murktide. Oh wait, well, they can hard cast Force of Negation, never mind. Like in future turns. I was gonna say they might just hold up Murktide in their hand to use this Force of Negation food, but they can just hard cast Force of Negation without any issues. So in upkeep, I could spin the Volt. I don't think that makes sense. I'd rather have a 5th land here. Ooh, Codex Shredder's nice. So I can play that right now. 1 Codex Shredder, please. Thank you. For Mori Volt, even when it's only spinning for 2, coming in clutch. Yeah, I don't think I mill the Force of Negation. Or maybe I do. I guess I probably should have. I'll keep the Profane Tutor. We're going slow. Surgical doesn't do very much right now. Okay, so end step this Gardens is going to become a Codex Shredder, I think. And the lock on 2 should be enough to close out the game, I think. I don't want Surgical right now. Pixis is great. They almost certainly want to counter that. Oh, they don't. Okay, sure. What are they looking for at this point? Are they just gonna try and time me out? Oh, I'm at 11 minutes. I gotta hurry up. Okay, I have 3 mill rocks. I'm gonna start milling them. There, I can use the Pixis. I will cast the Profane Tutor and look for a... They have 2 counter spells in hand, so I don't... I think I grab a Saga. I'll mill my land. Tutor's fine. Okay, I'm just gonna mill the Archmage's Charm main phase. Doesn't really matter. Brazen Borrower's not good. You cannot have that one. Yep, they try and fetch it away. I do not care about Break the Ice, but, you know, I don't really get a choice anymore. I already started to mill it. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 artifacts, so I could spin the Volt. Actually, no. They have counter spells. It doesn't matter. I'll just play the land. Another Brazen Borrower. Did I let them get a draw spell and I forgot? Well, they're not fighting over anything, so I'm gonna guess no. Profane Tutor. Yeah, I've basically proven that I don't really care about any of the spells, or about counter spells anymore, so they may as well just counter something while they have the chance. Makes sense to me. I will grab a Codex Shredder. And play the Cookbook. Goodbye, Construct. You've served me well. Oh, they're just representing their Force of Negation that they still have in their hand. That's what they're doing. My cookbook did resolve. Okay. So I can just discard the Thoughtseize. Well, I could cast it too. I guess there's no harm in that. But oh wait, they're just gonna pitch it to the frog anyway. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What am I talking about? I just need the game to end. All right, at least. All right. This chat was a little funny, but you know, sometimes you have to make fun of yourself in order to win over the opponent. But look at that. 3-1. The only loss that we had was a actually this Boros match, they kind of ran me over. Like I even had a deluge in one of the hands, I think, and it didn't go so well. I mean, I'll see in replay. But yeah, I'm liking the build so far. On to match 5. Let's see how this closes out. All right, let's close this out, shall we? Hey, look at that, on the play again. Looks like they have a companion to reveal. Yep, there's Gigantha. Okay. With that in mind, Cookbook gets a lot better because they're probably on Boros. So this hand looks like turn 1 Thoughtseize, or turn 1 Bobble them, then Thoughtseize. Turn 2 I can Cookbook, turn 3 I can Bridge. Or I even have the Saga in the middle. Yeah, I'm okay with this. I could even Cookbook on turn 1. I'll lead on Bobble. I'll see what they're doing. Okay, they're drawing a land. Yeah, I'll just Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize is the safer one. I need to choose between Unstable Amulet and Fable of the Mirror Breaker. I think Unstable Amulet is the scarier one. Fable draws 2 cards, and that's the only mode that I really care about against them. So I'll take the Amulet. Alright. It's a race. Let's see how it goes. I'm a little scared. I'm flooding out. Or I'm drawing very awkwardly. That's okay. This cookbook should help a lot. So my guess is Flooded Strand, Sacred Foundry, dump 2 1-drops on the table. Going turn 1 or turn 2 cookbook might make them think that I'm an Asmo food deck, so I'm not sure how they play against that normally, but that might change their sequencing as well. I doubt that they realize that I'm about to slam Bridge. Okay, yeah, they're just gonna slam 1-drops. Yeah, Guide of Souls. Ocelot Pride makes sense. I'll just heal to those. I think I'm gonna discard the Gardens, because if I ever draw a trophy, I want to make sure that I can guarantee casting that. Okay, we draw Shredder. I think what I do this turn is that I slam Bridge down. I'm not sure if what I discard with the cookbook, but I discard something. So this is a little tough because I can Bridge, discard the Bridge. Actually, I might do that. I don't think I rely on them. I just need to hope that they don't draw removal, I think. So like I can either double Bridge or I can guarantee a Lantern Lock. Well, let's see what they do this turn. I don't have to commit to a choice yet. I can wait till their end step and see what they do this turn. They probably try and get rid of the Bridge this turn, if they have an answer for it, because they can't cast their Fable unless they draw an untapped land anyways. So they might just, if they have interaction, they might just use it on the Bridge right away. Goblin Bombardment. Oh, okay. That's wild. Whoa, I haven't seen that yet. Okay, so my opponent can do 1, 2, 3, 4, because I have 3 energy, 5, 6, 7 damage in combat. End step, they're gonna get 2 more tokens, and they can deal an additional 9. So I go to 1. Jeez. That's nuts. I might just need to hold up a food token, so I don't even think I can Ensnaring Bridge then. So I think I discarded Ensnaring Bridge on the end step. That's crazy. The more that I see these Boros decks, the more that I think like, wow, even if I reach Toxic Deluge, like this is still tough. Like I need to Deluge right now, and like I would have had to do it on curve. The more that these decks get tuned, the crazier they look. So I think Saga's gonna have to tutor out a Needle. Because pretty, like, every creature that they get at this point is just extra damage. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, they just kill me here. Okay. That's crazy. That was their turn 3. That's insane. So Amulet may not have even been the right choice for them to make them discard. I probably should have taken something like Guide to Souls or one of the Ocelot Prides. I sorely misjudged that. Alright, well the removal package is coming in. Soul Guide can come in for the Flage. Or, yeah, Soul Guide can come in for the Flage. I think Profane Tutors are too slow, so I'm going to take those out. The Cage comes out. Soul Guide Lantern will be the Cage. Surgicals don't matter in this matchup. I really want to keep the Baubles because I can just dump them out of my hand right away. Like, we are basically bridge or bust in this form. Or like Deluge. Deluge can buy us time. But the trophies we need for early game removal. Terrace Under doesn't really matter. It hits Static Prison, but we have trophies for that too. And they're really hard to dump or hand dump away. Like, they're good late game, but I think if we reach late game, then we're favored. We just need to survive the initial massive onslaught that the opponent hurls at us. Goblin Bombardment is crazy. I don't know what to do about that. Like, it's a needle target, so that's good, but I have so many other things that I'm trying to do early on in the game. Alright, well that's a bridge. I'm on the play. I can dump my hand pretty quickly here. This is almost as good as it gets. Like, turn 1, 1 drop, 0 drop. I don't even think I cracked the bauble. I think I just... every card in hand is like 7 or 8 damage down the road. I almost wonder if it might be worth it to run something like Plague Engineer. No, probably not. Plague Engineer is probably not good. I cost 3 mana still, so I might as well just run Toxic Deluge. Oh, that's not good. I think I have to make them shuffle that right now. That sucks. Do I crack the bauble? Oh, well, if I wanted to crack the bauble, I should have done that on their upkeep so I could see what they're drawing. Okay, they run out Guide of Souls. I think within my next 2 draws, I can hit a land. Is that being greedy? This might be crazy. No, I think I have to hold on to the trophy in case they like Static Prison or something. But it spends my mana better next turn. If I fire off the trophy next turn, like I can pop their Guide of Souls. It ramps them, which means they hand dump. Maybe I just do crack the bauble. Yeah, I'll just crack. I really don't like the concept of cracking the bauble, but I don't know. I don't like my prospects. Maybe we try and spin into a board wipe as well. Okay, we secured the 3rd land. That's good. I'll grab a swamp. I think I have to let them draw the bolt. Let's take the land. Doesn't matter. What relevant draws do they have? They have Static Prison. They've shown us Wear Tear. So it's probably, what, like 6 slots in the deck? And if I care about Bolt, that's 10 slots. They have 53 cards left in the deck, so that's like a little more than 10%, maybe 12% chance that they draw something that I care about. Yeah, but okay, we can mill them. That's fine. We're low-key hoping that they draw more 1-drop creatures. Just speculating while they're going through their turns. I wonder if maybe instead of Collective Brutality, if Fatal Push is going to be... Like, there should be a split between Brutalities and Fatal Push. Like, Brutality is still a removal spell in this matchup. No, well, Brutality lets you hand dump faster. So you can discard multiple cards to select multiple modes. And they're almost always going to have a creature, so you can always proc all 3. I was going to say, Brutality is really slow as a 2-drop, but if you can minimize your hand size, that's really helpful. I think Brutality stays in. I would really like that, like, Ocelot Pride gets so out of hand if you just let it sit there and do nothing. That feels like a big problem. Raptor spins into Fable. Okay, so turn 2, they're gonna have a Fable sitting around. Is that a huge problem? Not really, but the fact that they have that on turn 2 means that they're gonna... Like, that's a value engine right there. I don't like that. But yeah, I wonder if Fatal Push is worth running. in the 75 somewhere. The more that I play against Boros, the faster it seems to be going. It just keeps going and going faster and faster. Ooh, Deluge is actually really tempting right now. Instead of firing off the bridge right away. Because if I slam bridge, it doesn't do anything this turn. But I could Deluge for 2. They have 4 cards in hand. They're going to draw cards next turn. I do have a trophy if they play something big that I care about. I have Soul Guide Lantern for a Flage. I'll Deluge. I'll grab a Forest. I'll pay 2 life. Alright, that's all cleaned up. Pressure's off a little bit. They do still have 4 cards in hand, though. Like, that's a lot of value, especially if they get to bin 2 of them that they don't care about and draw more. Yeah, they got to bin 2 lands. Okay. Don't like that. The fact that they're fetching now means that they're probably playing Flage? Well, they have Fables, too. Oh, Blood Moon. Okay. I'm really glad that I fetched out both my basics. Okay. Yeah, we're good. Play out the Blooming Marsh. I'll represent a 1-mana green source. Maybe they think I run like a Nature's Claim or something. I don't know. Just do something weird and make them think about it, potentially. Okay, they have a Reflection of Kiki Jiki that's out now. Okay, they have Guide of Souls. They have 2 Guide of Souls. That's fine. I have a bridge resolved. Amped Raptor reveals a Johnny. Okay, so I have to pick off a Johnny with the trophy. We have a clear trophy target. They're gonna get a bajillion and a half energy. I don't think I cracked the Soul Guide Lantern. I think that needs to stay up. Alright, Saga's just a dead card. That's fine. Go find a basic. There's the Flage. Works for me. I can get rid of that. I don't need to be worried about them casting it, so I'm going to wait till end step. Okay. I don't need to pop Soul Guide yet either. These Sagas are showing up at the wrong time. Yeah, I'll just exile their yard now. I could have taken a card out the door with it, actually. I should have milled them. It doesn't matter. Actually, the Shredder's not a huge deal. If they... Oh, they can't Surveil, because the Blood Moon's out. Yeah, I should have Shredded them. Grand scheme of things, it's not a big deal, but still should have done it. Okay, now I can pop their Blood Moon with this trophy. That might be valuable. None of the creatures in their deck grind out any value that I care about with Ensnaring Bridge on the table. So I'm going to leave Reflection of Kiki Jiki around. I don't think it's damaging. The only thing that it might do is copy like a Harsh Mentor. That might be a little annoying, but I don't think I care. Start combat. Blood Moon is gone. I want a Lantern so bad. Okay, Jagantha's in hand. That's cool with me. Second bridge is nice as well. Having spot removal is... Or my opponent having a single spot removal spell doesn't save them now. Okay, they're going to fetch their Surveil land. Makes sense to me. They did have a foil, so they run at least 2 Parlors. So they can do that again. I believe. Unless we got rid of it. No. They've been a Fable. Interesting. They must have concluded that Fable's too slow. Inquisition of Kozilek. Sure. What you got, opponent? What are you doing over there? Wear Tear? Yep, Wear Tear. 1 bridge is gone. And Bolt. Okay. Fair enough. They can hold those up forever, so they may as well. Okay, their last card's Jagantha. Makes sense. So all they need is 1 removal spell. They need a Static Prison. Or another Wear Tear. They could spin into that very easily. They have not yet. Phew! Okay. I am fading death. Lantern? Come on, Lantern. Oh, they still have the Goblin Bombardment as well. So that's another thing I need to dodge, because their board state is very large now. If I get a deluge, that would help. It does none of those things. Okay. I think they're more likely to reach better draws over time than I am, so I think I need to save the bauble for myself. Because I need to dig through my library quicker. There is a risk right now, like if I blind bauble, I want exactly 0 cards in hand. So if I hit 2 lands in a row off the bauble draw and my natural draw, then I'm basically guaranteed to be dead. The only way I fade that is if I draw a cookbook or something. Well, no, wait, I wouldn't draw a cookbook. I'd only draw 2 lands. Yeah, so yeah, I just have to not draw 2 lands in a row. And I can sit with my opponent on this tense board state. What's on the top of my library? Saga feels slow. I think I have to bin the Saga. I think we're past the point of that being useful. It's also a land, which I don't want to draw 2 of. Alright, Bell. Mycosynth Gardens copies a bridge. So that's important. So, yeah, Gardens is just going to hold up and try and respond to removal by copying the bridge. Beginning of your end step. Okay, yeah, they're just... Copying Ocelot Pride means they get even more cats. Alright. Lots of triggers. They have 26 energy, and they are going to have 5 more. Actually, they're going to have much more than that. This is where you pull out the D100. The chat. The game history is, quite frankly, absurd. Why is this eating my clock? Okay, I'll just yield to these reflection triggers as well. Those don't matter. This Toxic Deluge would be so mean to my opponent. Okay. I draw an Inquisition. Hiya. What you got, opponent? Another bolt. Okay. 2 bolts. Well, that's actually really bad for me. I'm going to copy the bridge now, while I know that I can do that. What a board state. I think I yield until my own upkeep here, just to get through their triggers as fast as possible. And then I can press 5 if I see something that I'm scared of. Okay. Lantern? No, I don't like that at all. Alright, they have a land. Thoughtseize is bad. I don't want those anymore. Like, I'll take a cookbook. What are they doing? That's scary. No! Stop giving me these! I don't need these anymore! I'm so close! My top decks are killing me here. They need a Flage or a Bolt. They've established that they run both. They only have 1 more Bolt in the deck, but they have like 3 Flages in the deck still. Assuming they run a playset. Maybe the Goblin Bombardments mean that they don't run a full playset of Flages, but... This is so bad. Yeah. Amped Raptor. They have 67 energy. They will have 71 by the time that all these triggers resolve. So I have a feeling that they will be able to cast whatever they spin into. A Harsh Mentor. Yikes. Okay, so my Lantern Lock doesn't even work anymore. So I'm looking for, like, Collective Brutality specifically to remove the Harsh Mentor. Uh-huh. What you got? Okay, so yeah, they're toying with their food. GG's. Okay. Oof. Okay. Brutal finish, but yeah, we got O2'd there. Cool. Well, let's go to some summaries. What are the takeaways from the league that we just played? We did play against a mill deck. We played against blue-white mill, which is a slightly better matchup than blue-black. But the fact that we won that was mostly luck, and our opponent missed playing. So I'm not going to read into that one too hard. Playing against Murktide felt really good. We had... I think the deck is in a really good place. The Boros matchup is still a big struggle, though. I think I need to learn to respect Boros. The moment that I see Gigantha, I need an immediate plan on how to empty my hand very quickly. So I think I need to mulligan more aggressively, looking for effects like Bridge, for things like Cookbook, cheap spells like Trophies, probably take a back seat, just finding ways to hand dump as aggressively as I can. With that in mind, let's talk about the card that I put in thinking that it was going to be good, which is Legion's End. I didn't read the full card. I thought it stripped the whatever it targets out of your opponent's deck as well. It's funny because I played in Standard, like with this card. Like I know what it does, or I knew what it did at one point. I just completely forgot. It's been a few years. So Legion's End is much worse than I realized, just because I didn't read it. So this is coming out. I would much rather it be a third Deluge, maybe a Bontu's Last Reckoning, maybe like a Collective Brutality, maybe like a Fatal Push, just something that does its job more efficiently, or something that takes the whole board away. Another thing that I think is on the hot seat in the sideboard is Curse Totem. I don't think that we're boarding it in enough matchups to justify it being used, and the fact that I can't Whir of Invention it out means that if I'm only running one, it's not a very consistent sideboard option. We didn't see any use for the Damping Spheres, the Jailers, or the Ashiok, really. We saw this boarded in against Mill, but I'm not running it for the Mill matchup that just kind of happened. So these four cards, though, I think are good in matchups that we just didn't see. They're still kicking around. I've seen them before. I think they belong in the deck. Terrace Under, same deal. If we play against some one-ring decks, or Necro decks, or Tron, Terrace Under is much better. So these 8 cards we didn't really touch, but I think they still deserve to be in the list. As far as the main board is concerned, I might add a board wipe into the main board just because Boros is so prevalent right now. And if I have a Toxic Deluge stranded in my hand, then that's probably not the end of the world, because if I'm really worried about keeping my hand empty, that probably means that my opponent is playing a creature deck, so having a board wipe isn't going to be a big deal anyways, because I want to cast it. So Surgicals, I think, stay in. I think that you can hand dump them quickly if you really need to out of desperation, but they answer a lot of problem cards in the format, so I want to keep those. Profane Tutor, I think, might be too slow for the current meta. If I can't hand dump against a deck like Boros very effectively, then running 3 of these and expecting to cast or to suspend this on turn 2 is a problem. So I think my plan right now is that I might lean more on Ancient Stirrings, or maybe I'll flirt with some Scheming Symmetries. That might be something that you see in the future, just because those are cheaper cards. Even though they don't have the flexibility that Profane Tutor offers, I don't think that... Like, it asks for a lot of time, which the format doesn't give you right now. So, Stirrings and Symmetry, I think, are things I'm going to be looking into more. I could probably cut a land and go up to 4 Ancient Stirrings. That might be something I'm going to consider in the future. However, a lot of our sideboard is in artifacts right now, so post-board extra Stirrings might not be good. So maybe I'll try out Symmetries. I think that's it for my closing thoughts. Overall, I think the deck has good bones. It's just going to be tweaking it towards a faster meta, is all. So, yeah. I will be posting this probably a week or 2 from now, so you'll have some other content. There's going to be a decent back catalog of other Lantern videos that you can take a look at. Please do check out the Moxfield link as well to see the most up-to-date version of the list that I'm running now. I'll be posting previous versions in the primer. It looks a little ugly, but as long as you copy-paste the decklist copy-paste section into your Moxfield or into MTGO, you should have the correct variant of the list. You should be able to play it without any problems. A lot of the ideas from this deck comes from the Lantern Community Discord, which I've linked in the description as well. Go check that out. Lastly, if you enjoyed this video, then all I ask is that you spread the word. If you think that this is good and you know somebody that might enjoy this as well, then I'm happy that this is helping people. So, all right, take care, everybody.